So before we go, let me talk a little bit about who George is. So George has been in the security field for more than 20 years. He established and managed security and GRC functions in large companies like the World Bank, Goldman Sachs, Visa, Symantec, Atlassian, and most recently, Snowflake. So quite a few names in there that we've all heard of. He has a master's degree in computer science and business administration, and he is a member of several advisory boards and on the board of the Bay Area CISO Council. So we have a killer guest for our very first InfoSec Leaders session here today. We've been doing some webinars at Trustero for some time now, but we're introducing this new series where we talk to InfoSec Leaders. And George, we're feeling very lucky to have you on the line today. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Michael, and hello, everyone. Really excited to be part of this series. I look forward to speaking with you.
Perfect. We also have Nick Martin, who is our VP of product at Trustero here, and Nick's my color commentator today to add some of the AI, know-how and intelligence on some of these topics that George is talking about. So with that, let's get it started. So George, why don't you just tell us a little bit give us some background on your GRC career and kind of what you're up to now. Like what does this kind of evolution look like for you over the last 20 years?
So I started my career in information security. I've been doing security architecture, test review, those kind of thing. And then I started the leading team, the function, and then slowly shifted towards GRC. That's how the whole idea of risk management excited me, because it was getting closer to business, and it's on the border between business and technology. And I really moved into the risk management GRC space when I started to see 13 years ago. Then I went to Atlassian, where obviously there's a risk management and GRC function. And now the last place I am in is Snowflake. As you probably know, Snowflake is a large data company, data about analytics, those fast things. So a really interesting challenge to solve there. I'm responsible for the customer trust. So you can think about the whole life cycle of trust. So getting business objectives, staying really close with our sales, business development folks, getting the business objectives, speaking with the customer, how those things are affecting the customer, speaking with the regulators and where the regulations are going. Then deliver the actual product, all these kind of certifications and assurance that then at the end of the life cycle reporting the customer. So you got questions we got, credit card, the qualification, how we use the tool in the compliance ladder, all of those. So that's kind of the scope of my responsibilities there. As you can imagine, we're using a lot of tools. The time of a single GRC tool is gone. Now it kind of depends on the brands. We have a whole number of GRC tools in different parts of the GRC organizations. And of course, we have a whole bunch of own developed tools, leveraging the capabilities.
So why don't we move on to our second question here? Can you tell us, so that was a great introduction to what you've been up to. What do you think has changed the most in your time working in the GRC field? And then specifically, and I'll remind you if we kind of get off track, I want to know, what do you think has changed the most in the last 2 years?
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting. When I started my career, the name of the game was globalization overall, not just for security and GRC, but in general. We were kind of expanding all over the world, about the multinational companies, a lot of interesting markets. It was a very, what I'm noticing in the last probably 4 or 5 years is like the opposite sense, for lack of a better word, deglobalization, where we start seeing a lot of regional requirements and regional regulation, but they're very specific. For example, we are all familiar with DORA. That kind of spurred the whole idea of privacy that went everywhere, not pretty much every country and every region has something to say about privacy, and usually they're slightly different from one another. Another example that again is coming from EU is DORA, that's the regulation around the critical infrastructure. And again, we're seeing similar things happening everywhere. So there is a lot of kind of awkward happening on data process and business precedent. So how do you reside the data only in a particular region or particular country? How the custody of that data should happen only in that country? And in some cases, it goes with inward, talking about poverty, where you have to establish your business presence over there. You have to have an officer of the company over there. No, all of that stuff. So those intricacies for a different region and countries are becoming more and more. And of course, that is impacting it. Which means that you have to know your ecosystem. So in general, we have to be much more careful about who our suppliers are. How do we do security assessment of those suppliers? How do we make sure that they maintain operation? And that's kind of the beginning of it. But there are more and more questions from a global perspective start coming in around our suppliers, who they are, what kind of business they're in, or their suppliers, like extending the supply chain further now. The same thing about your customers. There is this notion of know your customer in the initial world, but that is expanding to pretty much everybody out there. Regulations that you can't carry the UI and that require to at least know your customer require they will get what kind of business they have. And that is expanding to that ecosystem around you, so your supplier, your customer, but also your business part. So this is becoming increased awareness of who you're dealing with. And on top of that, there is an increased tension in the global geopolitical space, which means that the threat from those actors are becoming more and more real. We just heard about Microsoft being targeted. There's some other large names that came toward the end of last year. So this is becoming more and more prevalent, and that is a result of what I call the deglobalization. And this may seem a little bit more focused on larger international companies, but in fact, it affects everyone. Well, not only especially if you're a software company, you have some kind of outsourced thought somewhere, Eastern Europe or India or somewhere. And those regulations will start seeing that affecting you, or the geopolitical event will start affecting. The other thing is that probably at some point you're supplier to a larger multinational company. Maybe you've been either to the US, you're some kind of a relatively small 200 people company in the software space, but you're supplying, you want to supply to large and multinational companies. Which means that all of those regulations, the requirements are going to start flowing to you. One example I'll give is the recent law, the software bill of materials. So pretty much everybody who's working with the federal government have a software bill of materials. And if you're supplying a federal government supplier, then you're somewhere and you have to probably are going to come to you. And there's this kind of a, in a weird way, globalization of the requirements of the regulation. I still remember when our private show, when GDPR came into effect, our private show obviously that conversation, we are all regulated and working now. Because there is no way to avoid it. Europe is a big market. Everybody standpoint is doing business with some European companies. Same thing with China. But China has a lot of regulators as well. So at some point, somehow, maybe not directly, but indirectly, you're involved in those things. Same thing in India. So inevitably, you're going to be affected by those regulators, not directly, indirect. And if you look at what happened in the past, 5-6 years, what was the big deal? Only also companies, only larger companies were following things up to. Nowadays, stop food is a thing of everybody needs to have it. And we can talk about it later. Well, that affects your operate, how you have to become more efficient, probably get you more willing in order to get those things going, because not everybody can afford to have 5 and 15 people on GRC team to work on software, ISO 27000 or Sigma or whatever else it is. So we have that hope that this.
It's an interesting point with SOC 2, John. It's within how, deglobalization and the proliferation of SOC 2 has made it so that even the smallest companies need to start thinking about this, but it's still really, really hard to do. Do you have any advice for some of these companies how to take this on, even if they don't necessarily have teams to get after it?
Yeah, the good news here is that whenever there's a demand, there is supply. So a lot of companies started working on that, and usually they are addressing those more prevalent requirements like top to like 7,000 IFA. They're coming along. And these are a relatively small company, probably should look at both suppliers. And not only from a technology perspective, we kind of get used to default the technology, but also they are well knowledge of information. They can give you the technology, but they also give you a lot of advice on what is coming about how to structure certain things. So try to use your supplier knowledge, technology supplier, for the knowledge suppliers.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, given this environment, what are some steps that people can take? And it sounds, really like basically be prepared. It's coming for you, whether you want it to or not, and maybe it's already arrived. And then definitely pursue information security, compliance frameworks. That's going to provide kind of foundation to prepare you then whichever jurisdictions you're going to be in. And then it's kind of building on top of that InfoSec foundation that is going to set you up for success.
Yeah, now that's actually a really good point because there's so many frameworks for pretty much everything. Then we can easily get lost in 2, 3, 4, 5 letter of abbreviation. The good thing is that there's some kind of fundamental capabilities that could across pretty much everything. So if you pick those few frameworks that are really relevant to you, that customers are asking for, and you develop those capabilities using those frameworks, you're going to be really good spot. So it's like basic process operation isolation. That's kind of key. How do you separate the data in the US from the data in Europe, from the data in India, from the data in China? And the level of separation. So there are a lot of nuances here. I send you with the processing, there are a lot of that require not only data, but also localization. And the operation, for example, if you work with France, the data should be France, the processing should be in France, your support organization should be France, you might have business planners in France, you should have all be direct France, right? But like pretty much everything out. Maybe France is not a relevant market to you, but your customer will operate in France, and again, that requires a may fall down to you. The other thing is how quickly you can discard. How quickly you can fix this. Because if something happens, you should be able to, but generally you got to monitor the communication without the application. But if something happens, if there is an annotation or something, you should be able to quickly quit off the thing. And maybe if that's the supplier yours, you should have kind of a list of suppliers on the back of your mind that you can switch to. So the question is how self-sufficient that location that is there, and it needs and for business resilience, I would say take a lot of the time. Maybe I can have a bias for agility, but having those people talking just like are extremely important. If it's stakeholders around the table, I'm hoping the scenario, if they ever breach, what will happen. And then you're going to discover that you're not prepared for a lot of things. There are in a lot of cases, we need to notify the customers, but customers make it notify in a different way. Why are we going to take our employees? Or you're going to take the open the press? Maybe the regulators going to come in. So what do we do with that? And that you have to supply information to the customers that are involved. How do we integrate our incident management with their incident management? So sitting around the table and just going through the scenario is going to help you right for so many things. So the other thing that I would say is that really the priority. But those regulations and those changes in the business environment are happening so quickly that when you build something, you have to build with the mind that could be like 400 times the capacity that you need and a lot of people. You will come back and rebuild it again. And the efficiency that we can gain, we were talking about the technology. You have to be careful about the technology, yeah, but you need that technology. And the word AI and like and probably going to talk about AI at some point because those conversations always lead to AI, but AI is one of the key technologies that can help you increase the efficiency of your team, and you should definitely look into that.
Can we dig into that? I mean, it's in the title of this talk, so we should dig into a little bit more. What's been your experience so far with AI? Has it really impacted your job yet, or is it kind of sitting out there in the periphery? And then what do you think we need to be thinking about in GRC as AI gets bigger and just is everywhere now?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because AI has been around for a while, but probably in the last, I would say 10 years, we had the necessary technology for actually our thing. advancing on the AI. The theoretical models have been around for a long time. I mean, probably the last couple of years, there is a general awareness around the AI since ChatGPT. I mean, so it's kind of interesting how we're thinking of AI in two probably opposite ways. There's this thinking that is it really very flexible at all, and should be really careful about that. And then there is the opposite thinking of, oh, this is amazing, this is the best thing that ever happened to humanity, we should embrace it right away. I think this would truly be separated thing. So why is it scary? Well, on one hand, if you think about how you're probably using AI, a lot of the existing approach is lower. But think about it, whether you're doing algorithmic or ML type of development, you have to look at the code and you have to do some kind of vulnerability scanning. You have to do security. All of those things that feel valid, we should still do those things. But on top of that, there are other things that are specific around it. Or, for example, how do you address the problem with the integrity of the data? Well, how do you know that this thing is not hallucinating? I mean, what are the methodologies that you're going to use to make sure that the answers you're getting from it are actually legitimate? Right? There is around the supply chain. Now, models are rolling up and there are various standard or staging models. So I wouldn't be surprised if your development team is either using somebody else ML on top of their infrastructure, or they're just buying the model, or even open source models out there. So get the model with all the weights and everything, and you run it on your infrastructure with your own data, as is also possible. So all of those rules that we have and we tell the app or supply chain, they still apply. The intellectual property, consent, and all those you support is still the number one. On top of that, the regulation, why makes it a little bit scary is that the regulation is a lot area. There is no consistent framework of how we should think about AI in general. We know that they think they came up with the express AI, the express. There are a lot of industry groups that are thinking about what are the framework we can develop on AI or how we can extend the existing framework. You can go the AI. At the same time, the regulators are coming at it. Probably you heard about OpenAI that was banned for about a month, what year in Italy, because they were using private data in a way that they didn't regulate like. So more and more of that we're going to see. Here, for example, we're thinking about the metadata. We talked about the data residency and also the data acid, but the actual data resides in the reader. And the metadata hasn't been in focus for, let's say, before. But lately, there's been questions about, okay, if such powerful AI models, then we use the metadata to read the real data. Or if you're querying the data, those problems that you're having, are they part of the real data or their metadata? Are they not some regulations around? All of that is going to affect the companies that are doing business in that vision or their supply. So it's scary, the bottom line. But on the other hand, it's really awesome because it is to that with frequency. That I was talking about. For example, I have a friend within marketing, and he's better than they writing a marketing paper, it's looking multiple hours. And the question was really how to adjust the prompts for the AI, and well, it brought it into the group. It would make it erase it and figure out that you are quite easy. So if you look at your own GRC operation, the question is, are there any mundane repeatable works that are happening within your function that you can relate with ML? Probably not 100%, but as much as you can. So, for example, questionnaire. Everybody did questionnaires. So you could get a tool, and they're saying that plug over here for the payroll, but if you get like a tool that can give you not 100%, let's say 60% effectiveness and accuracy in sitting in the questionnaire. And you got people doing questionnaire day in, day out, that need to then do something else, something that is more interesting, more impactful, more return on investment that's answering questionnaire. But questionnaire is one example. Then is another example. That's a mundane work, right? 90% of all the readiness is a mundane work. So probably you can use the AI to improve this and to do some kind of chat before job system. And I can tell you that auditors are actually looking at AI as well for the low level kind of a mundane work to be replaced by the AI. Another example would be security there. If you think about it, 80% of the security is definitely pertaining the data and putting it all here. And they'll can do that for you. So think about AI as an assistant it will not replace your people, but it will help them be more efficient. And as we talked before about all these regulations that are constantly coming in, it's changing environment, you have to become efficient. There's a side effect, you also understand AI better. So when your company start using AI, and probably they already are, when they start using AI, you have a better understanding of, okay, what are the use cases, what are the scenarios, what I should be careful about, because I'm also a user.
I'm curious, as as a leader in the space and as a manager for many years, do you have kind of that idea of when my team doesn't have to answer security questionnaires, when my team doesn't have to do audit scanning and things like pre-audit scanning, do you know the things, the bit more strategic work already, or is that something that you think managers have to go and figure out? Like, I'm going to have this time sometime in the next few years. What would I have my team start to tackle?
So you plan for it, right? You know the plan for you to have your operations, you all did your report, but then you plan for it. But you make me, if I can there's people, let's say 3 people out of 6, to instead of doing quick security questionnaire, how much rather deploy those people to look at, okay, what is new thing that is coming? Let me establish my better relationship with my customers to understand how that impact and start and be more active in helping those. I think that has a much better return on investment than just filling in a questionnaire over and over. And we all know those questionnaires now involve the same thing, but it.
Yeah.
I also, know from talking to various folks like you, George, that the demands on your GRC staff are often far exceed the available capacity you have anyway. And so there's pretty important kind of triaging exercise that happens where you need to, you give, say, like we're thinking about third-party risk, you're only really giving the highest risk tier the most scrutiny. And perhaps if you had more capacity, that would actually allow you to potentially do more. There are some negative consequences because you weren't able to do as much as maybe you would otherwise like to.
Yeah. So we were talking about regulation from the global perspective. Think about them is that the climate that puts that it's really hard to turn on a dime in 6 months in depth. Even if you do, it's really hard. So it's better to again deploy those people to look at those regulations strategically. Say, hey, 2 years down the road, you're going to state this and let's start working on it right now. And let somebody else, something else, take care of when they questionnaire, audit readiness, security assessment, all of those things. It's kind of there's a philosophical component towards there because traditionally security and GRC have been seen as more of an insurance bond of the business. So they're there just to get us on the same level with everybody else and prevent something bad from happening. And you know how insurance, if somebody is going down the street being, this is all right? Everybody's trying to stay on insurance. Now, well, that affects the traditional thinking of security. You're trying to do as much as possible with as little resources. Whereas if you focus on thinking about security and GRC as the value mark for a business as a differentiator, kind of stay close with your both with the business development, stay close with engineering and the product people, then you can make security and GRC as a differentiator. And again, relieving those resources from the mundane operational work related to insurance into more of a value add for the company. That also good for you as a leader in the team.
Yeah, like you'd be able to unlock more sales because of how incredible your security is.
Exactly.
Well, believe it or not, we have about 1 minute left. So I want to do one quick thing and then we're going to try to answer 1 or 2 questions. So you were talking a little bit about questionnaires, just so happens we knew this was going to happen. We, Trustero's questionnaire copilot, that Nick and the team have worked on for quite a long time now, and it's just a really powerful tool for quickly answering security questionnaires using AI, is going live today. And it's free. And so a couple links on the screen there. Our new tool, we have a free version and advanced version. The free version is available to anybody on this call and really anybody on the world, and you can have it up and running in the next, I don't know, maybe 30 or 40 seconds, Nick. So that's on the screen. I'll leave that on the screen when we ask George. Try to get to 2 questions here, and then we'll see what we can answer in the follow-up that goes out. So George, here's one. Let's see. What's your advice to other GRC practitioners for keeping up and growing their career in the AI age and staying current?
So I kind of alluded a little bit about that. But basically think about how you can turn your pay more to be a value add other than insurance. So build the brand, stay close to the product people. Stay current, participating in the industry growth, to getting closer to your brethren, what the regulators are thinking about. If you want it coming down the pipe, and it's not big to job the regulators, because regulators are looking for people like that to help them understand the field. So it's good to participate, and probably a little bit maybe controversial. It may both be open, because it's not just the technology or the service that you're getting from them. You're getting a lot of knowledge. It's not just your vendor. There are a lot of other companies in the same field. They've seen a lot. So you can have this frank conversation with them of like, hey, how anybody else is thinking about that? What are they doing here? They can hook up with, again, contacts within your industry. So think about the vendors that more than just vendors. They're your partners.
That's great. Okay, we're a minute over, so I want to be respectful of everybody's time. Anybody on the webinar and anybody who registers is going to get an email from us later today. We'll include George's LinkedIn if he tells us that's okay. That way, if anybody has questions directly for George, they can bug him on LinkedIn. George, again, just thank you for doing this with us. It was a great kickoff to this series. Could not have had a better guest on, and I think we probably have a lot more to talk about. So maybe we can do this again in a few months.
Thank you so much, and I look forward to see you on it today.
All right, perfect. Okay, thanks again, everybody, and look for a follow-up email from Trustero with a little bit more information. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, George.
Thank you.
Talk to you all soon.
Bye.